Hello everybody, my name is Marlowe and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival. Today we are going to be building an Adobe styled village here in my local Mesa biome, or the Badlands as they are now officially called. And here we have arrived. This small bit of the Badlands biome is going to be totally transformed by the end of today's episode. My plan is to basically make a bunch of staggered colourful houses kind of stacked up next to this cliff here and turn it into a bit of a seaside town at the same time, since, you know, we are beside the sea. So as I said, I want these houses to be colourful. Of course they're going to be made out of terracotta blocks, but I just got to decide what colour terracotta I actually want to use. I'm not sure whether we should use some of the colourful terracotta blocks like we have laid out here, this is all of them by the way, or we could do something like this and just use the 7 terracotta blocks that are naturally found in the Badlands biome. Actually, I've had an even better idea. I'm not just going to use a handful of these terracotta colours, I'm going to use every single one. So this is only going to be a small town, we don't need that many houses. I think 17 is a really good number, which just so happens to be the number of terracotta colours. So I think it's going to be a real fun, colourful result if we do 17 completely different coloured houses all stacked together on this small cliff. I think before I start adding in any colour, I would just like to figure out the position of the houses. And I think it's going to be easiest if I just do that out of one single block. So I'm going to use stone and kind of just plot where they're all going. And then after, we can go around and switch out that stone for all of the terracotta colours. I will quickly need to head back home though, because a stack of stone is definitely not going to be enough. Okay, so we are going to need a fair amount of stone. That's probably good. And I'm also going to bring my beacon supplies with me because I am most likely going to have to dig a lot of terracotta at some point in time. Oh wait, I only need 9 of these blocks. You don't need the full beacon to mine terracotta instantly. So there we go, saves a bit of inventory room. You know what? I think it could use some colour. So let's go ahead and get some terracotta blocks. And yes, I know there are more than 17 cuboids here. A couple of them are doubling up. So I think I've got them sorted so we can actually have one of every colour. For example, can you see how this one and this one connect a little bit different to the others? They don't jut out on the edge here. It's actually quite seamless. So I've got one over here and another one just up there. Can you see? Those two. So we got 2 doubles and 15 singles, I think. Anyway, let me go dig a hole in these badlands here and gather up some terracotta. As you can see, I've got all of my terracotta colours. I just need 2 more stacks of the regular, but I didn't collect enough, so I'm going to fly back over and super quickly get a little bit more. I've covered it up now, but I think it was around about here somewhere that I was digging before. I know it's about... Ah, here we go. Oh. No bad idea. I don't really know why, but for some reason I've stopped carrying torches with me recently, which is really dumb because I'm well aware you guys can't see a thing. So let's get out of here and into the sort of light. Let me go to bed. Aha, there we go. Some proper lights you guys can see again. Now I officially have all of my terracotta, so let's start replacing some of the stone and get this build looking a bit more bright and vibrant. I know it's just a bunch of colourful cuboids at the moment, but it's really exciting me because I'm just imagining how this is going to look once it's actually turned into a little village. We'll get some doors and windows on the go and actually figure out a way to enter all of them. Of course, it's going to be quite compacted. It's going to be a little bit all over the place, but I think that's just going to add to the charm of this little town. So I think the next thing I want to work on is just decide on where all of these entrances are going to be, because obviously, like I said, we got to figure out a way to actually physically be able to get in them. So I just need to kind of plot a course and a path to every single house and make sure it actually works in regards to building the entire thing. All of the door holes have been added in, and we can get to all of them reasonably well. Most of them we'll just be able to walk right on into, like this. There's some that we kind of have to climb on top of the other houses to get to, but that's totally fine. And then there's some which I'm going to have to put like a ladder here or like a little staircase or something like that. There's a couple that aren't quite as easy to get to, but I like the idea of kind of climbing over everyone else's houses to get to your own. Now, before we go any further with anything on the outside here, I think I'd just like to kind of fill out the interiors a little bit. I would like all of these houses to actually have just a little something inside of them. Now, I'm not going to totally furnish them just yet. I will eventually, but I think for right now, I kind of just want to make them actually, you know, hollow because right now most of them kind of just stop right here. The interiors are done, for now at least. It was getting a little cramped in the middle here, so some of them look a little bit weird in their shape because they can't really be expanded any further without bumping into another one, but I've made it work for the most part. So now my plan is to basically turn these shapes into actual houses. Now, I've actually made an Adobe styled house before on my channel. I've got a tutorial for it. It's one of my older videos, but I think it definitely holds up. So I'm going to be using that similar style for a lot of these houses here, and I'm just going to see how that goes. I will also probably be referencing some other kind of Adobe villages and Mesa houses and all that sort of stuff. So any inspiration that I find during the process of this video, I will leave down in the description below, along with a link to my Mesa house tutorial. So anything that kind of goes into the creation of this village, it's down below. Okay, I'm going to fly back home, pick up some supplies, and I'll update you when I've got something to update you on. Update number 1. Oops. I have finished the first house. Haven't touched any of the others just yet. Personally, I think this is a really good split of a little bit of detail, but not too much. As you can see, for the entranceway, we got a nice little awning over the top of it, and we also have a couple of windows. This one is a real window, you can see through it, but this one around the side is a fake. And I feel like that's going to happen quite a lot where I want to put a window in, but I've got some blocks behind it. This is actually the ceiling to the inside, as you can kind of see. So I'm definitely going to make use of sticking that trap door there so it looks like something's behind it, but there's actually not. So don't tell anyone, right? That's a secret between us, okay? And then, of course, I've got the buttons around the edge of the top part of the house. If you look at real life Adobe houses, they either have some sort of like indentation around the top or quite often like these poles sticking out. So that's just me trying to resemble that a little bit. And for the top part of the roof here, we have a nice rim of oak slabs. So I'm going to do this sort of thing for the rest of the houses. Oh buddy, this place is looking so much better now. I am in love with this. Do bear in mind we're not quite done. There is still more to be added on here, but adding in all of these bits of detail is a definite improvement. I think the next thing I want to work on is kind of adding in some proper pathways leading to all of the houses. Now, admittedly, to get to most of them, you kind of have to clamber over all of the other houses, but every now and again, there's a bit of pathway that is actually needing to be used. Like over here, for example, this bit of sand kind of stretches all the way up to the top here, and I don't think I really want to have any terracotta in the actual pathways. So I'm thinking we use red sandstone. Thankfully, there's actually quite a lot of variants for red sandstone and regular sandstone that can make for some really nice pathways. Of course, we've got slabs and stairs, which is always helpful, but we can also place in some upside down sandstone stairs to get this texture on the top. So kind of combining the regular sand, this texture and this texture, I think that's a just good combination and should work pretty well. However, I have no red sand, so I'm gonna need to go get some. Preferably pretty far away from our little town here, as I'm gonna completely decimate part of the mesa here. Perhaps not decimated, just made look slightly weird. Either way, I've got enough red sandstone now where we can build all of those pathways. Completely overkill, by the way. I do not need this much at all. I may also add in a few more pieces of detail, nothing major, just like a couple of barrel stacks or something like that, and that way we can kind of finalize this house section and move on to a couple of other pieces we'll have elsewhere around this area. There we go, that's looking a little bit better, I'd say. Trying to go for some very natural looking pathways, with the exception of this part over here. This looks quite rigid compared to the rest, but I don't think it looks too bad. I personally think it actually fits quite well, just sort of slotted on the side next to that building there. And as you can see, I've dotted a few bits of storage with some barrels and note blocks and chests. It's really helpful for just filling in empty gaps. So at this point, I am happy to call all of the houses there behind me done. Oh, that's my helmet, not my face. There's my face. So this is meant to be a small seaside town, and other than the sea, we haven't really got anything that resembles a seaside town. So I'm thinking out on the water here, maybe we could build a couple of docks, possibly some very small boats, and just something that kind of signifies this is more than just a bunch of houses. We'll start off with those docks that I mentioned, but instead of any custom boats, I think we'll just go with some regular Minecraft boats. They'll do the job just fine here. At the start of the dock, we'll have some fishing nets using the cobwebs and fence posts, pretty cool design there, as well as some kelp blocks just stacked up for food for fishing maybe, something like that. Over on the other side, we'll build another smaller dock sort of thing, except it's not really for docking boats, it's more so just a way for the people living here to get out into the ocean and go for a swim. So we got some ladders going directly down into the sea. And of course, if that's not fun enough for you, we're also going to build a couple of diving boards here so you can jump directly in. There we go. This place is actually finally starting to feel like a proper town now. With all of this fishing stuff added in, it's reminding me a little bit like one of those small towns you can find all over the Italian coast, if you kind of combine that with Adobe Mesa theme. It's like a mashup of the two. I really like it. So all we've got left to do now is finish the interiors. I would like to actually do every single house in its entirety. Mainly because I love the idea of just coming here and having a wander around and being able to kind of walk in and over and through every single one of these houses and really immerse myself in this little town. And I can't do that if the interiors look like this. So let me grab some supplies and I'll get all of the houses fully finished. So it's been a couple of days since that last clip and I sound a little bit different. I sound ill, and that's because I am, which isn't great. I need to go back to resting my voice, but thankfully it's right at the end of the video, and I've managed to finish things up here. So our town is officially done. All of the interiors have been completed. They're nothing special, just enough so it feels lived in, and I'm really, really happy with this finished result, and I hope you guys are too. So thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next episode where hopefully I don't sound like this anymore. Bye for now.